Hey guys, welcome back to another one of my Gotham videos, and this time around it's a sad day because we are reviewing the series finale for Gotham. Now I think this is probably going to be my final video for Gotham. I might post another video later on, Easter eggs for the entirety of Season 5, but nonetheless, this is probably the end of it. Now this week has been really good to all comic book lovers, lovers of comic books, lovers of comic book TV series, lovers of comic book based movies, because a couple of days ago we got Avengers Endgame, some of us got it today, but a couple of days ago for others like myself, and I ended up watching it like 3 times so far. So yeah, it's beautiful. We're also watching an amazing season finale for Gotham. Now there are some critiques against this episode, like hey, this was too easy, the way he defeated the Joker at the end, that was too easy. Hey, you know what, we needed more villains, like the rest of the Batman Rogues Gallery. Now I personally believe this episode should have been a 2-hour series finale rather than a 1-hour series finale. There should have been a lot more to it. But in the end, this episode was not meant to be a Batman movie. It was not meant to be the life of Batman. It was meant to be just the beginning. And that's exactly what they did. And they did call the episode The Beginning, signifying that this is just the beginning. So we could have wanted more out of this, we might have hoped for more out of this episode, but nonetheless they did deliver what they promised to deliver, and they did achieve what they wanted to achieve out of this episode. So I'd give this finale a 9 out of 10 for being a stellar finale, missing some components, but nonetheless, a stellar finale that knew what it wanted to do, went for it, and achieved exactly that. But alright though, let's get started with discussing all the details out of this episode. So it's 10 years after the end of last week's episode when Bruce returns back to Gotham. That's a 10-year absence, and it's very Bruce Wayne returning after 7 years of absence on the pages of the comics from the Gotham scene on both the arcs Year 1 and 0 Year. We've got the Jim Gordon mustache, and I was thinking, where in the hell is the raincoat? But then the guy quickly loses the mustache, like 7 minutes in, he loses the mustache, and he's like, it is time to admit it. I was just trying something, and it didn't work. Hell yeah, dude, you were trying to give us a nod to the comic book Jim Gordon, and you did it, you achieved that, so thank you very much. But Selina Kyle, now portrayed by Lily Simmons, has now become the Cat of Gotham, full-on cat, top to bottom, costume, mask and all, and Bruce Wayne is there watching as Batman, of course, as she tries to steal this diamond and succeeds. Now thinking about that moment, I'd say it's very comic book-like, unless of course the fact that he wouldn't usually be able to see her face on the pages of the comics. A big staple of the comic book Selina Kyle Bruce Wayne relationship arcs is that he does not know she is Selina Kyle behind the cat, and she doesn't know that he is Bruce Wayne behind the bat. For each of them, and in so many arcs, the other person are just themselves. Yes, there is a Selina Kyle, but there's also a Catwoman, and Catwoman is not necessarily Selina Kyle, and the same applies to Bruce Wayne and Batman from the perspective of Selina Kyle. Take The Long Halloween as an example. Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne do have a relationship, but when they're costumed, they've got no idea that that other person behind that other costume is basically the person that they're having a relationship with. And as Batman and Catwoman, they might help one another every once in a while, but nonetheless, they're definitely at odds. But moving on though, the entire story with Nigma might not have been that necessary over the course of this episode, but I believe presenting Nigma and Penguin on this episode was about making them into part of Batman's Rogues Gallery. So that could have been implied, but nonetheless, we needed to say goodbye to all of these characters, the characters we've loved for so many seasons. The obsession as well that Nigma has with Batman, the obsession that, Penguin ends up having with Batman, the obsession they have with Bruce Wayne, that's all part of their comic book personas, and also when it comes to 0 Year and Nigma, it's part of his persona on that arc. But next up is us meeting the Joker, and yes, I'm calling Jeremiah the Joker. Now I know a lot of people are unhappy about the fact that they keep saying, hey, he's not the Joker, but rather a proto-Joker. But the heart of the matter is, naming conventions are all about politics, TV versus movies. Warner Brothers and the producers of the movies probably as well do not want another flat-out Joker role to be put in comparison with the upcoming Joker movie. I mean, I believe that Heath Ledger's Joker is already enough competition for them, not that we won't all compare Joker portrayals then, and not that Heath Ledger's Joker was not actually the best Joker that we've watched either on TV or in the movies so far. Hell yeah, it was. But even better, it is confirmed that he's supposed to be the Joker, that he's no proto-Joker, because he just tries to search for a name. I don't like Jeremiah anymore. I don't want to be Jeremiah. Call me this, call me that. Or you know what? Just call me Jay. But moving on, there is a certain development over the past 10 years when it comes to Barbara Kean. She's gone legitimate, she's doing the right thing, she's trying to be a better person for it, for her daughter, for the fact that Jim Gordon and Lee Tompkins have forgiven her for everything and decided to help her, decided to make her part of their family. But Barbara Gordon is not the only Barbara on this episode, because we get to see a young Barbara Gordon, and a young Barbara Gordon means, bad girl, means the Oracle. It is basically everything that we've ever dreamed to get to watch on Gotham, even if for one episode. But alright, Harvey Bullock being framed for a crime, Jim trying to clear his name, that basically reminds me of the events of the 1990s Batman the Animated Series, only over there it was Batman that was trying to clear his name. But speaking more of Penguin, he's got his comic book look, the entire thing, like finally, that was really amazing. The guy's put on some weight, he's got the monocle, the good old garb from the comics, the whole 9 yards really. Now Oswald over here states that his first act as a free man will be to lay flowers on the grave of his beloved mother, and that's a callback to his main motivation to do a lot of things throughout the series run. Now that would include the murder of Butch, and he did that in order to hurt Tabitha because she was the one to have killed his mother. Okay, Penguin and Jim at the docks, one holding a gun at the other, very season 1, the end of season 1. Only on season 1, it was the other way around. Jim was holding the gun and Penguin was about to get shot. But Bruce Wayne though, always late, never on time to any event. That's basically a staple of the comics. Now I do understand why we didn't see Bruce Wayne a single time on this episode, since he put on the costume. They didn't want us to compare height and whatnot to the costume itself, but nonetheless, we didn't see him as well because it's kind of not to his comic book persona. He does not make it to events. He's never there on time. Now the Riddler trying to blow up the mayor is a callback, and he does state it as well. It's a callback. The fact that Selina is angry at Bruce, the fact that she shows it, talks about it, screams it, that is all representative of the crazy relationship that they have got in the comics. On and off and then on and off again. But just like in the comics, Alfred and Lucius are the most trusted people when it comes to Bruce Wayne. They obviously know that he is Batman and they approve. And as usual with the comics and movies, like the Dark Knight trilogy, they support and help as well. But circling back though to Barbara Gordon, her attacking Echo and Jeremiah, the courage that she got over there, that is pretty much the show's way of giving us a nod to who this girl, this young girl, is gonna grow up to be. Batgirl. Now our Joker here, shooting Barbara Kean and taking Barbara Gordon, that felt like a strong hint to the Killing Joke. Basically shooting Barbara Gordon and leading to her paralysis. But Ace Chemicals is being referenced on this episode as the place that the Joker was born again. And that's basically a reference to the Joker in the comics as well. He was the leader of the Red Hood gang and ended up falling in one of these vats, ending up becoming the Joker. But the Joker's obsession with Batman and the Joker's obsession with Bruce Wayne, that's not out of the realm of the comics. So his statement, I was waiting for him, as in Bruce Wayne, to come home, that made a lot of sense. The Batarang, of course, was a nice touch. Jim Gordon on the roof getting ready to, light up the bat signal, just like he was on the finale of last season and on the premiere of this season. That did feel like a strong reference to none other than the bat signal in the comics, and of course a callback to the beginning of the season and the end of last season. Jim Gordon's sarcasm when Alfred tells him that Bruce Wayne is busy is kind of all about a nod to his doubt on the pages of the comics as to the identity of Batman, like Batman is Bruce Wayne. That is one of the things that do happen on the pages of the comics, and you do see it clearly on an arc like Year One. Now all the talk towards the end, in the darkness there will be light, that is what you promised Master Bruce, you saved him, gave him hope. That's basically a reference to the very first season, the very first few episodes, and a good way to end the series, like you're ending it by referencing how it started, by talking about how it all started and looking at how far you've come. But finally though, Jim Gordon referring to Batman as a friend, that's basically a reference to the realization he always comes to, no matter what reboot, no matter what story, he always comes to this realization, he is a friend. That's on the comics, that's in the movies, that's all over the place. But that having been said though, Gotham was a great 5-year run. It was a beautiful series, a great origin story, not just for Batman, but also for all the villains, and for Jim Gordon. I loved every moment of this series. It had its ups and downs, but its ups were great, and its downs were not bad at all. With that being said as well, let me know what you thought of this episode, let me know if you did like it, and make sure you let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like, subscribing to this channel, and enabling notifications for my future videos, community posts, and live streams. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, Gotham or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning into this one, and have a great day.